afternoon, the general public, the press. We are here on one course, and the course is International Youth Diplomacy Conference. 1,000 Africans from 35 countries will be hosted in Accra, Ghana, this July, and that is the main reason why we are here. And we are here to release a statement to the general public, informing them about the conference, the overview of the conference as well, how the days and everything about the conference. So I would go ahead and introduce myself, and the rest of the team would also do so. My name is Echampon Tutu, and I'm the Executive President of Innovation for Empowerment and Development, Ifed Global for short. I am here with I'm here with the following.
So my name is Eton, I'm James Flolo. I work with Auto Consult, and I'm representing Vikram here today. Thank you.
My name is Mosaji Elizabeth Oluwatosin, and I'm serving the capacity as a conference director for Iydc Accra 2018.
I am Emmanuel Kunende-Yadon. I'm a health service administrator with Ministry of Health Ghana, and I am going to serve as the Vice President of the General Assembly for Iydc 2018.
Thank you all, my colleagues. I would move on and read the press statement from the Office of the President of Innovation for Empowerment and Development. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press and the general public. We are here on two purposes. Finally, to address the public through the press on general overview and issues concerning the impending convocation of 1,000 African youths in Accra, Ghana this July from the 17th to 21st July 2018. Secondly, to outdoor the honorary patron of the prestigious conference, His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim, and grant him the platform to give a statement of acceptance and speak on the theme, the African Youth, Hope of the World's Tomorrow. Innovation for Empowerment and Development is an advocacy and educational organization that provides the platform to empower the lives of people, especially the youth, and help translate the power gained into development of the society. We do that through our programs and projects and believe in the continuous efforts as well, networking of like minds to achieve joint goals. In that regard, we are connected to youth leaders who represent us in achieving the collective objectives in over 30 African countries in Africa and Europe. We do also acknowledge experience and exposure of some personalities and tap into their advantage. So we connect to these persons on regular basis for their direction. Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, Dr. Harris Andor, Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi, Mr. Robert Amwafo of Amnesty International, Madam Cynthia Pra of the United Nations Information Center, Madam Sarah F. Shaber of the US Embassy, Madam Cecilia Wittges of the Netherlands Embassy, and the host of them. As organization, we run other programs in addition to Iydc. They are Diplomacy and Development Training Program, Model United Nations Plus, and Development Projects. Rural Educational Project for Africa for short. Rural Educational Project for Africa, REPA for short, is the current undergoing intensive planning. It's currently undergoing intensive planning by some experienced youth networked from Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and the UK. It is a 5-year developmental project to expedite sustainable education in the rural areas of Africa. We are commencing with 3 countries, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Liberia for now, where research is ongoing. In the first year, the project seeks to raise $100,000 for its initiation. The opening session of the conference in July, this coming July, on the 17th, right at Mensvic Hotel, we will be opening the conference, and we will be receiving quite a number of dignitaries from Ghana and across board in Africa. And during the opening session, there's going to be a talk or a presentation on this particular project that we intend holding, which is the Rural Educational Project for Africa. So you should hope to hear from us on REPA. Thank you. Now to the main item on the agenda, International Youth Diplomacy Conference, Iydc for short. It starts on the 17th and ends 21st July 2018 at the University of Ghana, Legon campus. This year's conference delegates will be hosted at the Elizabeth Sale Hall on the University of Ghana campus. Venues of the conference are BAM Library Seminar Rooms, Wetlands Seminar Rooms, Mensvic Hotel Conference Rooms, China Europe International Business School, Law Faculty Auditorium as well. On the first day, which is the 17th July 2018, delegates will be received till 4 p.m. Then, later in the evening, delegates get set for the Elders Forum, which will be held at the Mensvic Hotel, right here, where we have experienced personalities like vice president, diplomats, former presidents, business moguls, social entrepreneurs as coaches to share their experiences in their career success. The Elders Forum seeks to have just 3 outstanding and experienced leaders among the following: Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, Dr. Pakosi Indum, Dr. Patrick Iwa as well. Patrick Iwa is the rector of Ashesi University. He is well known, and we expect him to be on the panel for the Elders Forum. Sense of urgency and time consciousness are values of our concern, and we hope to imbibe that in the African leader. So right on the arrival day, delegates get into action. That's why on the first day, delegates start the process of the conference. They get into the action, they get to experience what the conference is about. We don't wait for a day for them to be ready for the conference. So that is one thing we want to imbibe in the youth of Africa. The next day commences with aerobics, and then the next day, which is the 18th of July, commences with aerobics and then to pre-simulation of the MUN. The MUN is the Model United Nations, and the Model United Nations is the modeling of the United Nations General Assembly. The General Assembly is the legislative body of the United Nations, and before we move into that legislation or the modeling of the General Assembly, it is better we take them through a pre-simulation where they would also where they would get to grasp the whole process. Where they will get to grasp the whole process. So pre-simulation of the MUN. Diplomatic lectures and seminar ends in the afternoon for the opening plenary of the conference to begin, and also to begin the committee proceedings to the evening. The closing plenary ends late in the evening, bringing a closure to the second day's activity. On the 19th July 2018, right after the morning aerobics, the delegates joined the bus to various places for the ambassadorial visits. They visit embassies, NGOs, intergovernmental organizations, UN offices, places of historic significance in Ghana, where they come back in the evening to network among each other. So when they go out for the ambassadorial visit, we believe that seeing is believing, and also realizing the reality in these places would give the confidence to these youths who intend to be diplomats in the near future. So we take them to these places where they would interact with the diplomats and the officials there to learn about what they do there, and as well they being engaging the delegates in topics with respect to the theme of the conference. When they come back, there's a networking aspect where they get to build relationships for business. They build relationships to start projects on their own. We believe that the youth of Africa has the potential to become whoever they want to be, but they sometimes lack the platform, and we believe we can provide that platform for them to get to know each other and start something, network and start something which will go beyond borders. So that's on that day, we hope to let them talk and work together on their own. The fourth day of the event is when the delegates, together with officials, go on outreach and visit tourist sites. And on arrival in the evening, there will be a dinner and award session to close the conference. Awards will be given to outstanding delegates. Delegates who come out outstanding, especially the ones who are so much distinguished. The best delegate awards will be given during the awards and dinner session. The best delegates, the most promising delegates, the well-dressed delegates, just to encourage in those who came out outstanding. Yeah. So we will give these awards to them. After the committee awards, awards will be given to outstanding delegates with categories like best delegate, the position paper, well-dressed delegates, honorable mention in all the committees. After the committee awards, the overall best is also given to the deserved ones. Likewise, the outstanding officials received recognitions for their exemplary leadership abilities. The next day is departure. So right after the dinner and awards, they depart in the next day. So that will bring this conference to a successful end right after the dinner and awards. This initiative was created to expose young people to real life issues and equip them with skills to effect change for development in their respective countries. Also, Iydc provides the platform for the youth of Africa to network with each other, to start business ideas, development projects, companies, organizations, programs, etc. Leadership skills such as writing skills, presentation skills, speaking skills, negotiation skills, and networking ability are made available on this platform. We believe the African youth have all it takes to do what the world expects of us. And as the title of Norman Vincent Peale's book says, "You can if you think you can." I strongly believe the African youth will bring smiles to the world. Nonetheless, we need the support of the older generation in directing our path and being resourceful by spending their precious time with us. We cannot leave the government of Ghana, the media, embassies such as US Embassy, Netherlands Embassy, French Embassy, United Nations Information Center, Osei Foundation, and other corporate bodies out in this press statement. We are very much grateful to them for their resources in the past and look forward to a stronger partnership in this year's conference, especially in the year that we are giving full scholarship to 200 officials and delegates. Ifed Global is also so much grateful of the network of youth across Africa working as representatives in the 35 countries to manage delegates' welfare and traveling arrangements to Accra, Ghana safely. Also, the conference Directorate works tirelessly day and night to plan and arrange for logistics, partnerships, delegates application management virtually and in the office, and we are so much appreciative of their contribution. The Secretariat and General Assembly cannot be left out. We hope to see you and the 1,000+ delegates in the evening of 17 July 2018 at Mensvic Hotel, specifically the K in Tiamoa Hall, to open the conference. Thank you so much for your audience and time. At this point, we would move. At this point, we'll move to the conference directorate. The conference directorate is the team that work behind the scenes to ensure that delegate applications are being well managed, to ensure that marketing for the conference, the promotion of the conference, go on successfully. So we have the conference director here who will speak or give a statement about their process, their preparation process, and also talk about other comment on other issues. Thank you. And
thank you very much, Titi. So last year when I was contacted by Titi to head the conference directories for Iydc Accra 2018, I was very excited because I was a delegate in last year's conference, and I must confess it was a life-changing experience. It gave me the opportunity to meet with different people from all across Africa and build my self-confidence, build my public speaking skills, and generally be a better youth, a better young person for development in Africa. So since we opened applications in February, we've had a lot of applicants. A lot of people have shown interest all over Africa in taking part in this conference, and I must say it has been an overwhelming experience in a good way, because we've met so many people, we've shared ideas, and I'm really looking forward to having this conference from 17th to 21st of July, and I would urge every single person that has applied and received an acceptance letter to make it a point to be at this conference. I promise you it's going to be a life-changing experience. After this conference, after 3 days, you're not going to go back the same way, so please make it a point to be there. Thank you very much.
the General Assembly is, thank you so much, Motajo, Madam Conference Director. The General Assembly is, the General Assembly officials are the officials in charge of overseeing the General Assembly proceedings. They also ensure that the committee proceedings go on successfully. According to the term, they are called a dice. So we want to give them the opportunity to also talk to us and assure us of a better simulation this year. As well, tell us more about the General Assembly. What is it about? So that other youths out there would also know and see the significance of partaking in this conference. So at this juncture, I will call on Emmanuel Yadom, Kunedu Yadom, who is the Vice President of the General Assembly, to speak on General Assembly issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let me give respect to everyone in the whole world. And let me also give a great deal of respect to everyone present here this afternoon. And I also revere the press and those who are joining with us via the internet. I give special respect to everyone. Now, in the olden days, when Jerusalem was to be rebuilt, the prophets heard in a dream a heavenly messenger saying to another heavenly messenger, "Wake up, run, go to that young man, speak to him, and charge him." Now, this is very true in the case of Africa today. The time is ripe. I believe the time has come that Africa is saying, "My young people, young men and women in Africa, take inspiration and motivation from those who have come and gone before. Though you might not have been present from their inception, but you are here today. Here is the torch. It is your turn to carry it forth. Now, my favorite author, Ellen G. White, in her book, Education, page 57, paragraph 3, she writes, "The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who will not be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience are true to duty as a needle to the pole. And men who will stand for the truth though the heavens fall." And I want to quickly remind the whole wide world that we have such people in Africa today. Young men and women in Africa are so endowed, so filled with brilliant ideas, perspective, and thoughts that if we are going to harness these ideas, Africa is going to move forward. That the problem, however, is that we lack the enough support, enough empowerment, enough development of our youth today so that they can go forward to uplifting the banners of Africa higher. Now, it is against this backdrop that I believe, without any equivocation in my heart, that there is a dire need for the empowerment of young people in Africa today to become astute leaders who can carry the banner of Africa towards Africa hitting a home run in a not too distant future. Young people in Africa, I believe, once again, are filled with great ideas, great perspectives, great thoughts, to mention a few. And these thoughts and ideas can really go a long way enriching the performance of our continent. But these ideas and perspectives can only be evoked through proper development, empowerment, and engagement of young people on the continent. And then I believe that as key drivers of change in this millennium, Africa's over 241 million population of young people must be supported and strengthened by vigorous national policies and innovative solutions to the challenges they face in their societies, in their countries, on the continent of Africa, and the world at large. Now, this generation, the most interconnected ever, continues to grow rapidly, and the problems we face in Africa are ever enormous. We talk of the issue of youth and unemployment, when you come to Ghana, when you go to Liberia, when you go to South Africa, when you go to Nigeria, when you go to Ivory Coast, all parts of Africa, there is an issue of youth and unemployment which Africa is facing at the moment. We talk of malnutrition among the youth. We can also talk of more adolescents not being able to attend school as at now in Africa. Teenage pregnancies are also on the rise. And when you come to the health facilities, especially in Ghana, since I happen to work in the health sector, most of the HIV infection cases we record each day, you realize that most of the youth or young people are being tested positive. And this is not something good to speak about Ghana and Africa at large. We can also talk about the fact that young ladies are from time to time being forced to marry here and then in Africa. Now, all these I cannot help, but I am optimistic when I see young people coming together, as we are going to have in this year's Iydc in Accra, bringing together their brilliant ideas and helping Africa to move forward. As we desire the issues of Africa to be solved over the next few years and beyond, we need to actually tap into the ideas of youth movements and young entrepreneurs. For this, they have the capacity and the potential to actually sweep up the whole debts on this continent of Africa. Now, for this to be achieved, I again believe that we can first at least attempt to clear this widespread misconception that in Africa, young people should have little or no say when it comes to issue regarding the problems of the continent. Now, it is very sad and very pathetic to see how young people, especially those living in poverty, they are always treated as recipients. Meanwhile, they often have the brilliant ideas and they know best what actually they deem fit. But let's ask one another, how can we cause a change in Africa today? The UN agencies, the government, private sectors, NGOs, academia, we can all lace together and then empower youth to drive social progress in Africa through new and innovative projects. I have personally found Iydc in my 4 years experience with the conference one of the most tremendous platform where particularly young people come together, connect with each other around Africa and beyond. And then you see that during these conferences, a new urgency in most cases is glittered into our eyes, where young people are charged that go forth, go and start something great wherever you find yourself, in any little corner you find yourself, go and bright a light there. And by the time we realize, we might have caused so many lights in the whole of the continent of Africa. Now, Iydc, among other diplomatic and educative simulation of the United Nations General Assembly. Here, when you come, you find young people playing the role as delegates from different countries and attempt to solve real-world issues with policies and perspective of their assigned countries. You also come to learn how to be a very good diplomat, and this further increases your diplomacy, your negotiation, and your lobbying skills. Now, participants also are taught researching, public speaking, debating, writing skills, in addition to critical thinking, teamwork, and leadership abilities. Now, at this year's conference, Iydc has actually moved a step forward with regards to the General Assembly and the committee sections. This year, we are making do of actually 10 committees, and these committees are as follows. We are going to make do with the Security Council, the Economics and Financial Committee, the United Nations Environmental Program, the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, the World Health Organization, WHO. We are also making do with the HRC, the Human Resource Command, the Business Corps, the Francophone Simulation, and the Press Corps. Now, in the committee sections, we are given each delegate representing the respective country is actually given the platform to share with us on the topics with regards to that particular committee, what we call position paper, actually what's the country's position on the matter we are discussing. So actually you get to debate, you get to see the same and contrary ideas from other people, and you see that by the time we are done, we come together with a resolution and we see that forward we are moving and solving the problems of Africa. So this year, we are actually entreating everyone to come because the President of the General Assembly, my good friend and brother, Afolabi Williams, has promised me under his captaincy this year, we are going to put something very beautiful and very tremendous that anyone who is going to attend this conference would have nothing actually to lose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Vice President of the General Assembly. You have really proven you are a motivational speaker and an author. He writes books. He's a very brilliant gentleman and a very promising one for the leadership of Africa. At this point, I would move to, before we move on to the speech of the patron, the honorary patron, Prince Ibrahim, I would call on the conference director to speak on some few issues to clarify on the general public. So, Madam Conference Director.
Thank you very much, Sisi. So, once again, I would like to thank the team that we've been working with for their support day in, day out to make Iydc a success. Yes, and we opened applications in February, but as of now, we closed applications. However, we are getting requests from so many people who still what all those who are part of this amazing conference. We want to thank you for how much you have put into the conference, and we also want to promise that we are not going to disappoint you for this conference. I would also move on to introduce the chairman, the patron for the conference. I would read his biography, and the general public will come to understand why we have chosen this great man to be the lifetime patron for Iydc. His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim is a strategic developmental economist with specialization in major international development project financing, public sector enterprises reforms, public policy and management, and a graduate of international diplomacy. As Africa-focused investment banker and analyst, His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim has investment expertise on cross-border risk, security, settlement, intelligence, and sovereign government policy advisory. He is serving in numerous governments, multilateral, multinational, and NGO companies. His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim is the 8th Sibi Karan Mansa and sacred custodian of the Royal Realm of Batalin in the Gambia. His Royal Highness is an experienced international diplomacy consultant and advisor for the Diplomatic Academy of London. He is a member of Chatham House. As a philanthropist, he chairs various charitable foundations in Africa. He is a chairman and sits on the board of over 14 companies across Africa. His specialties are traditional rule, diplomacy, culture, history and heritage, multilateral financing, among others. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move direct to the speech of the honorary patron, His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim of Gambia. He was actually supposed to be here, but he has sent someone to represent him, and the person is of the name James Flolu. James Flolu will speak on behalf of His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim. James Flolu, your audience.
Hello, good afternoon. As the directors ahead of me have spoken, I am the son of James Flolu, and I'm filling the big shoes of His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim from the Gambia. I bring you greetings from him. He's currently in London. It's not easy to have your prince to ask you to take charge and then do what he has to do here in Ghana. He's overwhelmed with the opportunities that has been presented onto him, and he's assured us of the support for this Iydc and beyond. All the projects that this group of young men wants to attain and then do in Africa, he has mentioned that we have it, and that everything possible that he has to do to make sure that the dream and the torch of Africa keeps burning, he will do that. So thank you guys. I'll move straight ahead to do the reading of the speech. I would like you guys to put on your seatbelts because it's quite a lengthy speech. So I'll read word for word. My fellow African youths, Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, media present, all protocols duly observed. I say Akwaba to the International Youth Diplomacy Press Conference in this peaceful, progressive and great Pan-African city of Accra, Ghana. A city in the nation of Ghana, and her Ghanaian people whose untiring efforts and consistent leadership, commitment continued to significantly contribute in shaping the Africa we all call home. Today, whilst championing Africa we want, thank you, Ghana. Today, I'm deeply humbled, touched, and grateful as a lifetime patron of the International Youth Diplomacy Conference, Iydc for short. I will eternally treasure this honor as my unflinching commitment in promoting your noble aims and objectives for a youth-centric, progressive, inclusive, sustainable development of Africa. We will continue to remind my fellow African youths of the uniqueness of our culture, our priceless heritage, our environment, and above all, our potential impact in today's and tomorrow's future of the world. I am not grounded by some mere article of faith, but with a clear understanding of our strength as a great continent. Today, Africa is the fastest and most resource-rich continent on earth, with trillions of US dollars of untapped resources buried under the lands. Africa is the world's second largest and second most populous continent, at about 30.3 million kilometers square, including adjacent islands. Our great continent covers 10% of Earth's total surface area and over 20% of world total land area. Indeed, a precious and priceless natural heritage to be safeguarded. In 2015, United Nations reports that there are 1.2 billion youth in Africa, 1.2 billion youth globally, meaning there will be 1.3 youth on Earth by 2030. Africa has the largest concentration of young people in the world. We have 226 million youth aged between 15 to 24, whilst youth aged below 35 represents almost 75% of Africa's 1.2 billion population. Indeed, the share of Africa's youth in the world is forecasted to increase to 42% by 2030, a trajectory that is expected to continue for the rest of the 21st century, more than doubling from current levels by 2055. Aforementioned clearly underlines the significance of today's thematic topic of this auspicious press conference: African youth, the world's hope for a better tomorrow. Africa's youth, the world's hope for a better tomorrow. Therefore, it is paramount to articulate and present the significant unrivaled opportunity that Africa's youth populace presents for an accelerated world economic growth and innovation. A demographic dividend not only presents economic and social opportunities, but also challenges that brings about implications for peace and security. In understanding our evolutionary strength, Africa rising again, we must pay great attention to our continent's potential gains on envisaged accelerated economic growth, which can result from a higher proportion of economically active youth compared to dependents. In line with aforementioned, it is also important to note that whilst Africa's demographic structure presents significant potentials for a demographic dividend, it also presents risk as well. With all our resources, unrivaled tech savvy, innovative and educated, and above all, most enterprising youth population, mass unemployment or underemployment in Africa today will be counterproductive for the future of youth and continent growth. Therefore, Africa's government must accept that unemployment and underemployment, coupled with lack of social security, lack of educational opportunities, and lack of inclusive governance, will drive youth to informal and even criminal activities. High unemployment youth for Africa's youth will make them more susceptible or vulnerable to recruitment by criminal gangs, organized crime syndication, jihadist terrorists, human trafficking, and forced labor organizations, while prolonging the menace of Africa's youth into very dangerous illegal migration, all of which can lead to political instabilities or even renewed conflicts across our continent. Thus, revisiting the topic on the table today, Africa youth, the world's hope for a better tomorrow. It is clearly a reminder whether the future of Africa's youth will be God-sent or ticking demographic time bomb. In any case, I must say, the onus of the future of Africa's youth entirely falls on the shoulders of governments of Africa. To chart way forward, implement holistic youth-focused policies and investment into human capital, education, vocational training, skills development, agriculture, food security, health, innovation, job creation, and promoting entrepreneurship in the countries. Effective policies and measures are critical to harness the benefits of the aforementioned potential and future demographic dividend for our youth and for our continent. We are all very much aware that African governments are gaining tremendous support from a wide range of international partners and stakeholders. However, the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals, known as the SDGs, will only be a myth and/or a blue sky ideal without the active engagement, constructive involvement, and contribution of Africa's youth to identify their own priorities. Youth should be a partner with development actors to foster robust implementation of various holistic development priorities, agendas, and goals, as enshrined in Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development and African Union Agenda 2063. I have no doubt that the upcoming 2018 International Youth Diplomacy Conference will complement our collective desires and aspirations and act as a platform for harnessing demographic dividends through exchanging of ideas and practical workshops among very talented, committed, and diverse youth across Africa. I am confident that Iydc activities across the continent will continue to focus on harnessing youth potential to complement the drive forward of Africa's transformative youth agenda in accelerating youth empowerment and development in line with the African Charter signed, adopted during the 7th Ordinary Session of the Conference of Heads of State and Government held in Banjul, Gambia in 2006, where our prince happens to be the Prince of the Gambia. The Continental Political and Legal Document was adopted to support policies, programs, and actions for youth development in Africa. Therefore, I am hopeful that the custodians of African Youth Charter, which serves as a strategic framework for youth empowerment and development at the continental, regional, and national levels, will also maintain an open door policy to work closely with Iydc and similar youth organizations through an inclusive, holistic manner to sustainably address and chart way forward on key issues affecting Africa's youth, including but not limited to 1. Employment, sustainable livelihoods, education, skills development, health, youth participation, national youth policy, peace and security, law enforcement, youth in the diaspora, and youth with disabilities. Furthermore, I hope Iydc will also provide a platform for African youth to raise awareness of the challenges they face, as well as to discuss ways to strengthen African youth participation in global, regional, national, and local governance processes. My fellow youth of the continent, let's all continue to commit and move on with our priorities of deep commitment and conviction on delivering sustainable development for the youth of our continent, to a new Africa of cooperation and partnership, where the priorities of the youth remains at forefront between our governments and our people, towards a stronger, fairer, all-inclusive, prosperous future for all. Indeed, a great reward if we get our leaders to prioritize our youthful challenges and opportunities in a transparent, open, and accountable manner. Henceforth, to succeed as a great continent of the 21st century, Africa's youth must task our leaders to embrace strong fundamentals, put in place systems that are fair and transparent for all, and we will be respected around the world. Ensure they embrace a new openness towards intra-Africa trade, foreign direct investment into Africa, and safeguard against all types of exploration. Embrace keenness for youth research and innovation. They must ease ways to help youth set up and do businesses in Africa. And of course, partner with some world's best corporations, universities, researchers, and finally, promote exceptional African youth talents for creativity, enterprise, and innovation found by and large among our vast youthful populace. Let me conclude by renewing my sincere gratitude and deepest appreciation for the great honor that you have bestowed on me today and beyond, I look forward to building deeper and special partnerships among youth of Africa, a shared goal for shared prosperity. Thank you all. The torch keeps burning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. James Etonam Flolu, for giving a resounding speech from the honorary patron, His Royal Highness Prince Ibrahim. At this point, I'm sure a lot of things will be running through the minds of the media as well the general public. So we would give opportunity to you to ask questions with respect to the conference, the welfare of delegates when they come, because receiving 1,000 people in one place comes with a lot of logistical work as well. I know that there will be a lot of questions running through your minds, so you can just ask questions, and we have our able directors to respond to them.
First, in talk of scholarship, that is the president. He talked about scholarships for officials and something. So I wanted to know what the nature of the scholarship is. As 200, you mentioned some 200 figure. What the nature of the scholarship is intended to do for the beneficiary. And secondly, I also wanted to know, is this the maiden edition of the event? That's the 2018 conference. Is it the main edition or what edition is it? And thirdly, Ifed to raise 100,000 USD. But from when I was going, it's like the copy I got, the copy of the presentation I got is not complete. Either a portion of it is off. So it just ended at that point, and I wanted some clarity on that.
We can just take all the questions and we will respond to them.
Hello, I'm J. Brown Ado from GhanaPublicEye.com in Plaza. You're talking about the application. How do one apply, and what are your criteria of accepting or taking in an applicant? Yeah. I want to know if somebody is interested or you taking entrepreneurs, you just give them the skills or you give them capital to start their business. And then how do you check on them afterwards to see how they are doing?
Thank you. Any question? Let's have everything.
Okay. I'll speak the one directed to me, then my colleagues continue from there. I spoke about the 200 delegates and official scholarship. Actually, this particular conference is a paid conference, and foreign delegates pay $200, which covers their accommodation, their feeding within the period of the conference, the transportation that is going to be involved in moving them from the hostels to the conference venues as well, to the ambassadorial visits. We would also do a tour outside Accra, and all these items are part of the $200 that they pay to attend. We would also give them conference materials. We would also give a certificate of participation, and they would partake in a dinner and awards, which is fun, okay? So we have considered that there are some delegates who are so much willing, they meet the criteria of participating, but they might be lacking in one way or the other. So we have thought it wise to give them the opportunity to attend. We have also given the opportunity to officiating staff, those who will be officiating the opportunity to attend freely, and that's the scholarship I was talking about. And with the 100,000 US dollars, it's quite huge. But looking at the full or the complete project, it is worth it. And as of now, the full plan is not out, so I can't speak much on it. During the conference, it will be launched, so that we get to know the basis for the 100,000. It's actually being worked on virtually by youth leaders across Africa. And I'm sure they have come far in the planning. And by 17th of July, they will come up with their presentation, and we will all know how the project is going to be. Okay, so for the rest of I will leave it to.
All right, so respectfully, you asked if this is actually the maiden conference or not. Iydc actually started 2015. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yes. So we have had Iydc 2015, that was 2016, 17. So actually, this is the fourth conference Ifed is holding, or this is the fourth Iydc we have. Thank you.
Okay, so there was a question on how to apply and then the criteria for application. So we have the link on our various WhatsApp pages, and then we have also run sponsored ads. So once you click on the link, you are taken to our website where you can apply for the conference. And to talk about the criteria, the only thing that you need is a willingness to contribute to change in your society. So once you apply and you go through, you review your application, you are given some questions to answer towards the application. Once you review your application and you see that there's a burning desire to do more in you, or there's a high chance that you'll be accepted to take part in the conference.
You mentioned something about the opportunities presented by this program. So I'm a very practical person, so I'll give you a reality, what actually happened. This is an opportunity where over 500 to 1,000 youth are brought together across Africa. Right. For me, I was part of it last year as a speaker. Through that, I got an opportunity to do something in Liberia, just the normal speaking. And the person happened to be present at the program, which was held last year. And I'm booked to go back to Liberia again next month. So just imagine the opportunities that were presented to me by this platform. And then you said something about whether we give money to, whether we sponsor. With that one, there have been a conversation ongoing as to how we can put in a package for that. But for now, what we try to do is that we need to circulate information among the youth of Africa. So that is what we are doing. I'm sure with the subsequent ones, we will put together something like that, where at the end of the day, it would be, this is not like an entrepreneurship campaign or, how do you call it, challenge or something. This is just to equip you in the diplomatic front to go out there. And I know what I got from it. I'm even billed to receive an award from Liberia. So just imagine if, so I've got people from Rwanda, you got people from the Gambia, and we are getting a prince from the Gambia to be present. So just imagine opportunities that will be presented to this. If you have any brother or sister from high school to the university level or working and want to improve on their diplomacy skills, they want to go beyond, they want to reach out across Africa. If you pick the United States of America, you have Georgia, we have California, we have all these states coming together. It's just like Africa, where we have Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria, and all that. Why don't we give access to the youth of Africa to reach Rwanda, reach Nigeria, reach South Africa, reach everywhere? This is what this whole program is all about. We want to bring everybody together, make it a small village like the United States of Africa. Thank you, guys.
Many a times people would say, as for me, my field is medicine. As for me, my field is engineering. My field is journalism. Actually, we are simulating help me. Which committee are we simulating? The press corps.
Yeah, the first
And
one.
the press corps is going to talk about press issues. It's going to help. They are going to discuss issues that will help build
Not
their.
the business corp.
We also have the business corps. They are going to discuss business issues, and at the end of the day, they will come out. They might come up with a business that would be a global, that will go global. So it's an opportunity that is not limited to just persons who intend to grow in the field of diplomacy or international development. It cuts across all fields, because at the end of the day, your leadership qualities will be needed. Your speaking skills, your presentation skills, your writing skills are needed in every area of work you are doing. Okay, so that is one thing I want to, point I want to note to the general public. We are still taking questions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kawichi. I'm one of the Italian delegates. Mr. President, I would like you to expatiate more on the scholarship. It's about the 200 delegates. So I would like to know the process of participating on that scholarship. Thank you. Yeah, I am Idris Osman. Yeah, I'm also an aspiring delegate. Today we moved out in a group to seek for scholarship for this, sponsorship for this program. You know, the global wind is blowing, and we the youth we need to stand up and face the challenges and solve problems in Africa. I went to a program, at La Villa Hotel, that was the West Africa Youth Forum. A lot of youth were there taking, awards and things. And one of them spoke about an issue. And, he talked about Africa's, problem can be solved by Africans. And I'm sure that is the whole thing this program is about. And I'm very sure we will achieve great things. Yeah. But I wanted to know, what about those that want to be part of the program, but they don't have the fund to? Actually went out, we moved around checking for scholarship. That is from there that we came here. But do we have opportunity to get into this program? Thank you.
I'm actually Azure GBC. I want to know if this is the first time Ghana is hosting this program. It's not the first time, but the previous three, where was it held?
Just to add up, when he asked the link to register as a partner or a delegate, you just said there's a WhatsApp link. Give us the site or what you type on Google to get to your platform. Thank you.
Okay, so let me take the question of the link. Our website is www.ifedglobal.org/IYDC. That's where you find the link to apply for IYDC apartment heating. But currently, applications are closed. So you have to keep an eye on the website. And when we reopen applications, you can apply. Thank you.
Okay, to speak on the scholarship. As a matter of fact, we have 120 officiating staff for this particular conference. So you can imagine that already 120 is gone and we are left with 80 for delegates. Delegates 80, as of now we have received I checked last night, and we have over 3,000 applications in now. And out of the 3,000, we've worked on about 2,500. And out of the 2,500, we've allocated 50 of them. So we now have 30 to go. Okay, so if you've not received any letter with respect to any scholarship, you should be hopeful. But you see, the criteria we do use is by recommendation from the various country reps. We have country reps from 35 countries, and some of them get to us privately that there are persons who are capable the opportunity to attend. And it is not that we have any money sitting down or lying down to do this. It is we are managing so as to also give these young and promising youth the opportunity or the platform to also unearth their potentials. Yeah, so that's to speak of that. And with the question on the years past, in the year 2015 it was in Ghana, 2016 in Ghana, 2017 as well in Ghana, all in the University of Ghana, Legon. We want to strengthen our organization, strengthen our structure before we can move outside, because the organization is situated in Ghana, and before you can move outside your borders, you need to strengthen your foundation before you move outside the borders of your country. So next year, Liberia is calling on us seriously, Nigeria as well, Sierra Leone, because we usually receive most of the delegates from there, and they are calling on us to come there to host it. Their government, as a matter of fact, Liberian government is in full support of this particular conference. So it puts the onus on the government of Ghana to also look into International Youth Diplomacy Conference.
Okay, this on the right hand, give an example. A boss here came for the conference and now he's out there. So I want to know, what is your biggest achievement since the inception of this program in terms of the applicants? I hope you understand my question.
The numbers or?
No, the biggest, let's say,
impact.
Yes.
impact, yeah, on an applicant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to know like how the conference has impacted delegates to the highest level.
I think.
Is there any other question?
Yes. I think this particular question will be answered by all of us on the panel because we are all beneficiaries of it.
Okay, so to answer, that's how far I can take it. So I would really encourage anybody who's having doubts or whether or not to participate in this conference to try and be there, because your life will never be the same after it.
Okay, so in 2015, the maiden edition, I had the opportunity to attend, and in addition to that, I served as the chairperson of the Economic and Financial Committee. Now, during the General Assembly simulation, the opening plenary, we had various speeches from various distinguished guests. Now, I met this author that I have actually forgotten the name. I had the opportunity to speak with the person. We exchanged contacts, and because I had a passion and interest in writing, I thought I should just make friends with the person. Now, this person actually, the kind of ideas he shared with me during the conference, it actually surged me on to put something on paper, and in that same year, I was, to the glory of God, able to publish 2 books. So you realize that different people around Africa and beyond are coming together with ideas, not just mere ideas, half-baked ideas, but ideas that has been cooked in a crucible of down-to-earth, practical, ideas that has withstood the test of time. So come and tap into some of these ideas from different people. One thing I would like to caution everyone who is coming, whether you have paid already or you are yet to pay, is that don't just come and occupy the moment. You should purpose in your heart that you are coming to pick something from the conference and you are going out there to make an impact in your life and as well in the lives of the others. If you are just coming, you end up attending various conferences and you go back and you are not doing anything. You are just wasting your time and resources. Shakespeare gives an example of a person in this state. In one of his books, I read in one of his plays, Macbeth. I don't know if any of you remember that stage play. He makes a statement that represents a person who is just wasting his time, like if you are coming for a conference for the mere coming. And it goes like this. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then it is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fairy signifying nothing. Now you know what that means? There is this young man in the play who is making a whole lot of noise, making a whole lot of action, but he really wasn't saying anything. So I want to liken this to the fact that if you are coming for the conference just to attend, you have money, you want to pay, you have suits, you want to put it on, you want to just make friends, you want to come and listen, then you go back and then you are not going to do anything. It's actually a waste of resources and a waste of time. Thank you.
You are who you are because of what you think. You cannot just you are on earth, and training is part of the process of you achieving or becoming whom God has made you to be. And if there's a platform like this which would give you the opportunity to build leadership skills, which will give you the opportunity to meet people of like minds, people you can start something global that can go global with, then why would you hesitate? Why would you be asking yourself questions about the conference? So on this note, I believe that you have to know where you are going. Once you are a youth, you need to know where you are going, and where you are going it comes with some rules. And if you don't want to recognize the fact that there are rules to this life, then you'll be where you are seeing yourself. And I believe you might not be comfortable where you are. So if you want to move from where you are, if you want to move from that zone, then you better put in some effort. You better take some steps. And some of these steps would help you achieve whatever you want to be in this world. I would also give the opportunity to Mr. Flori to speak on this.
Okay, so I spoke about my personal benefit from this, and I would also want to tell you to, if you are looking for a true definition of what Ifed does to you, is even Ifed itself. By saying that, I mean, if we are to tell you where Ifed came from and where it has gotten to today, you will be amazed. And then the whole point is that, I mean, we need to build this attitude in our youth that we don't need to give up. That attitude of my friend now on fire, my kwa me shiano, my ya anyi me bia any must stop. Because nothing comes easy. And Ifed is a true example of Ifed itself. And I'm sure one day they will tell their stories, and then you understand where they are coming from. So I would urge everybody to be part of this. The opportunities are enormous. Me, I only went there to speak. I didn't know what was in for me. I spoke and I left. Then I got this mail. Hey, James, we are doing this thing on entrepreneurship. Can you make it to Liberia? All the outline. They hosted me I was there for 2 weeks. They hosted me, they gave me food, I met a lot of people. Even started selling things in Liberia already. And I'm built to go back there. So just imagine, maybe you might get Rwanda, you might get Nigeria, who knows? So just be part of this to tap in. If you move, you can be moved. If you don't move, you'll be started. Even if they push you, you fall. So when you're moving and you're being pushed, you keep going. So just join, that's the first move. And then when Ifed pushes you, you can keep going. Thank you guys.
be allowed to come for the conference. We don't know the amount you're talking about. And Ifed, is it a members? Do you have members?
Members of Ifed.
Yeah.
Okay, he would answer that.
And if person is a member, you have already a person paid for the conference. After the conference, you have mechanism or way of checking on the person to see how the person is doing, or just leave the person to his or her fate.
Yeah, that's a very good question. The second one was very good. The first question you asked about the amount is $200 for foreign delegates and 550 cities for local delegates. Local delegates, I mean the people or youth living in Ghana. 550 cities. 550 Ghana cities and $200 US for foreign delegates. Many a times, some foreigners living in Ghana will call you and they will ask, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Liberian, I'm a Sierra Leone, and I'm schooling in Ghana. Am I supposed to pay $200 US? No. Once you are living in Ghana, you are supposed to pay 550 cedis. We charge $200 US because of some issues that, with respect that we deal on the foreign delegates. And you asked about the membership, whether we follow up on our members or not. We've actually created platforms that we check on members on WhatsApp. You know, today you can't be always calling people, and because of our work and the weight in our work, you cannot be always calling. So what we do is that we have created platforms where we share resources and articles, we share links to opportunities for the youth. Okay, in that sense, we keep our eyes on them, and we also we have mentors who connect. We give opportunity for them to be connected to them in any area that they need support from. As a matter of fact, I do receive WhatsApp messages, emails, almost every 30 minutes from delegates across Africa asking about. I even held a lecture with some delegates in Kenya, in one university in Kenya. I held a lecture with them on WhatsApp to explain issues with respect to international relations. So this is an opportunity that will not end after the conference. It's an opportunity that will give you several others or several other opportunities right after the period of the conference. You will speak. Okay. So I think we've dealt with most of the issues. Okay, and those joining us, or the delegate officials joining us online, can also send their questions on our Facebook live streaming. Okay, your question.
Some of us received the acceptance and the sponsorship letter. There's still on that letter that was the place where you specify of everything. Even though we receive a sponsorship letter, so I would like you to confirm on that.
Okay. We do send 3 documents after accepting your application. Yeah. And the first document is letter of acceptance. We give you details about the conference and all the amount you are supposed to pay. The second letter is to give you the opportunity which is the letter of sponsorship. It's just to give you the opportunity to seek funding for the conference. This is a capacity building platform, and we believe that leaders or parents would buy into the idea. So for the fact that you print your acceptance letter, you print your sponsorship letter, attach the conference document to it, and send to a possible sponsor, we believe that from these documents, these 3 documents, the person will be convinced to support you in funding your conference fee. That's the more reason why we add the letter of sponsorship. It is not to give you sponsorship. It is to give you the opportunity to also seek sponsorship. And in doing these things, it builds your marketing skills. The leadership process starts, or the leadership skill building starts right from that process. You learn how to market, you learn how to convince, persuasive skills are very important for you in this life. If you are not persuasive, you will always sit down, and things that you have in your mind will always be sitting in your mind. You need to have the edge to move out, and that is what we intend to give to Youth of Africa. I hope we've elapsed all the information, and we would bring this to a successful end. But before we do that, I will give a closing remark, and we will do a prayer. I want to first of all, I did appreciate some people, but it is very, very important to mention some names, because some people have really worked tirelessly to achieve this point that we have come. And so there is the need to recognize these persons by mentioning their names. I will do that. I would start by thanking the conference directorate. It actually started with the support of our able director here. Along the line, she had to move to attend to academic duties. Okay, she's a student of the University of Ghana. She started and she was working so hard. I was even shocked. Our office is located at Weja. She moves all the way from University of Ghana to Weja together with Elvis. Senior has been fantastic. He's been with the team right from the beginning, right from onset, and he's been very, 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 very up to task, and also loyal. And I'm so much grateful, and I thank God for his life. I also thank Kofi Asante. He's also been fantastic. He started with us last year. He was marvelous. Every other person was loved his commitment, and this year he's also with us. It shows that he's a very loyal person. This particular year, it happens to be that I stay out of duty a bit, but there wasn't any gap because of the work of 2 fantastic ladies, one called Sufaya and the other is Barbara. They joined the team and they have been very fantastic. I always talk to people and I say, wow, I have never seen this fill up in my life, and they are working so tirelessly to ensure that delegates' acceptance letters are being responded to. They are making sure that the partnerships are being secured. They are making sure that the venues and all that are being secured, and they are doing a fantastic job. And I hope that by the end of this month, they would say they have come to 90% preparation for this particular conference. I can't leave some folks. I might forget some of the names, but I can't forget the country reps. We have country reps across board, and there are some of them who have shown that they have this at heart, and we can't leave their names. I want to thank Kusi Armstrong of Liberia, Faith K. Toma of Liberia. Both of them are the conference reps there, or the country reps there. I would also want to thank Jairus. Jairus was the country rep for last year, and this year because of some duties he couldn't make it. But he recommended these two persons, and they've also been very fantastic. As of now, they've been able to work around applications somewhere around 800, just Liberia alone. So you can imagine, and they've been able to contact their ministers. Some ministers we are actually receiving 3 ministers from Liberia in July. Brian Sitakago of Sierra Leone, I can't leave your name out. Mary Ayi, I can't leave your name out in Sierra Leone. You are doing a fantastic job, and I know you are watching us live on Facebook. I can't also leave names such as Afolabi in Nigeria. Afolabi is going to be the president of the General Assembly. He's working so fantastic. He's a brilliant guy, and I can't leave his name out. Kayode, Ayo David, Prince Will Ohaji. Prince Ohaji is going to be the Secretary General of the conference. Actually, we ran it just as the system of the United Nations. So someone is going to play the role of Secretary General of the United Nations. So he is Prince Ohaji, is from Babcock University in Nigeria, and is also Ayo David. Ayo David is also one of the country reps in Nigeria. He's very fantastic, he's working day and night together with Kayode. Almost every time they are sending you list of delegates who have shown interest. CD, fantastic. CD of Gambia, very fantastic gentleman, very connected, and he's helping us with partnership across board. And we are so much grateful to you, CD of Gambia. Ahmed of Togo, Shimen of Benin. I think the names, I'm doing well. I hope so. So these are persons who are working so hard to ensure that this year's conference come on successfully. But there are some people who started with us, but due to work schedule and other issues, they are not here with us. And I would like to also recognize their names. Hey, I almost forgot my able executive, vice executive president of the organization. He's of the name Daniel Echampon. Daniel Echampon has been a very fantastic person. He's been with me in thick and thin. He's been very fantastic. And I greet you, Daniel Echampon, who is currently in London. I greet you, Mawa Osoro, in Kenya. I greet you and I appreciate you. There are quite a number of names, and I think I would end here and say, and also I want to recognize the presence of the delegates here, and I thank you so much for making time to this press conference. You've really proven that you have the edge, or you want to persevere to be a great people in future. And in the first place, I missed something. I think I should have thanked God, because God has been good to us. God has been so good to us, considering where we started from and where we've come. We want to say we are so much grateful to our Maker for giving us the strength and wisdom to bring this far. I would also, before I finally put the microphone down, I would also call on the government of Ghana through the security, because the security, when I say security, I mean the immigration and the police. Considering the fact that 1,000 people are coming, there is the need to do to help with security issues and all that, and we are calling on the government to come on board on that. We also call on the government to support us through the Foreign Affairs Ministry, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, so that whatever support that can come in to make this a befitting one would be. We thank you so much, the press, for making time to be with us here. We are so much grateful, and we can't leave you out. We also thank the ladies and gentlemen who took time out of their busy schedules to also be with us. Thank you, and thank you. Those watching on Facebook, we are saying kudos and thanks for following us. And the team behind. I almost forgot my new friend, Kojo. Kojo has been a fantastic guy. I've been on him, but he's also responded positively to it. Kojo is the one in charge of media, and I want to thank him for his work as well, together with his team. Thank you once again.